Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what you do after you die. I know it sounds kind of weird, okay? But here you are, you die in a car accident, you die in natural means, whatever. Eventually, your consciousness has a period of confusion, and then there you are, poof, your body is down there and you're out floating, whatever. At that moment in time, guys, you're out of the body, you're going to be confused. All right? You won't quite know what's going on because you're still attached to the template that's associated with this reality universe. So you don't know what the hell's going on. You're just getting your bearings. But soon enough, things will change. They will change. You'll meet up with others, or you may be alone. You'll pass through a period of fog and then clarity. There might be presented a tunnel of light. We don't know how any of this will manifest. It's different for everybody. In general, I advise not going into this great tunnel of light. Take your time, feel your whereabouts before you decide to do anything. Usually, you will be met with what is referred to as Jesus. Usually a robed figure. And most people say, well, that's clearly Jesus. More intelligent people may say it might be Jesus or something. That is your man-ted. There isn't a sign calling it your higher consciousness. There isn't a sign saying I'm Jesus or I'm the man-ted or whatever. It's your higher, it's part of you, it's your higher being, and generally that will meet you halfway because you and the man-ted GP share the same reality. So you will meet it, it will be aware of you. And there is no reason whatsoever for it to say, come into this tunnel. That's where I can talk to you freely. No. It can occupy the physical space along with you. So you don't need to do anything. You can define the realm that you two interact in. So when this time comes, and you're taking your time, of course, right? So what I'm saying here is that while in the fog or leaving the fog environment and getting a moment of clarity, you should calm yourself down and see what's around you. At some point in time, maybe long, maybe short, you'll meet this other entity, which is your higher energy self. If you're associated with domain, you start calling out for domain right then and there. If you're tired of waiting for your higher energy self, you start calling out for your higher energy self, whatever name you may associate with it. Okay, that's your mandate. And you can hang out with them and talk about some things. Now, you are actually at a crossroads at that point in time. A crossroads. You may elect to go back into your body and try again. You may elect to go the default method, which is go back up to heaven for another reincarnation bit, or choose door C, which is what I'm suggesting here. Stand in front of door C and ponder your situation. So you're sitting there and you're pondering your situation. Now, what I want to talk about here is questions you have to ask yourself. You can't ask these questions to the man-ted. You can't ask these to other entities. These are questions you have to ask yourself. All right? And that will tell you exactly how equipped you are to make decisions. Because right now, once you eject from the body, do not assume that you are capable of making decisions. Okay? You are thrown out of one environment into a new environment, And you may not be aware of your true situation. I'm going to give you an example. I had epidemitis, which is, I talked about this before. One of my gonads, one of my balls on my dick, okay, one of my balls swole up because it was infected. It swole up to the size of like a cantaloupe. It was huge and super painful. Painful. So I went to the emergency room, the ER, with my wife, and I was definitely in distress. They asked me what was my pain level. I was like, a scale from 1 to 10. I says it was 25. I was like, I can't even see straight. And so they calmed me down and they gave me some injections of medicine, obviously. And after a while, I felt calm. The doctor, calm and everything, talking to my wife, he says, hey, look, we got 2 procedures. We got 3 things we can do. Number 1, we can give you some medicine. You go home, see what happens. Number 2, we keep you in the hospital, give you medicine, and we take care of this as problems arise. Or 3, we just cut off your balls. I'm like, oh, just cut off my balls. I'll fly up to Chicago, because I had a flight going up to Chicago that day. And my wife says, no! The point was, I was in such a good mood and feeling so relaxed after the pain that I suffered, that I just felt that everything was good and I could just make this decision and everything's fine. You're going to be in that same state. You are going to be just like me. And if you're not careful, you will say, okay, cut off my dick. I don't care. I'll reincarnate back as a dickless wonder. No problem. I'll reincarnate as a raped baby in Bangladesh. No problem. Sure, go ahead. I don't care. Make me this ugly, fat slob that everybody hates. No problem. Whatever you do, don't agree to anything. I'm telling you, listen to me now. You fucking listen to me. The thing is, your thinking process isn't going to be right. But there's a couple of things that you can verify. There's some things you can validate. Number 1, and that's the purpose of this discussion here, is you may not be able to control how you think, but you can monitor how you access your memories, and your memories are going to give you insight. So the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have full recall of all your memories of this last life. That's the first thing. So don't worry about that. That's just memory snapshots of one of your thousands of lives. It doesn't matter. What does matter is what else do you remember? So let's go through some of these things. Remember, your Manted GP controls your memory access. So, if your Manted GP is being honest with you, you should have full access to all your memories. You don't have to go up to fucking heaven and look into some kind of book or procedure to have access to memories. You should have them right then, right there. The moment you're sitting here contemplating and talking with your Manted GP, your guardian angel, Jesus, whatever the fuck you want to call him, you should have full access to every single memory. If you don't, then you have to be very cautious about what your next steps are going to be. Capis? So the first thing you need to know, you should be able to access your previous reincarnations. So let's go through. Can you access the reincarnation of 5 lifetimes before your last one? 5. I'm just giving you a number. 5. Think 5. Now let's go back. Let's just keep in mind one thing. The rule of 3. Go back 3 lifetimes. Can you remember the full lifetime events? 3 lifetimes before this present last one. Remember the rule of 3. 3s. It's triad. You, Manted GP, Manted Prime. 3. Okay? You and your friends, the rule of 3. Always keep in mind the rule of 3. Go back 3 lifetimes. The rule of 3. Can you remember that event? If you can, that means that you have, at the minimum, selective memories of other world line templates. That's a start. Okay? Now, let's multiply that by a factor of 10 or 100. 30 or 100, or 30 or 300, your choice, or 3,000, your choice. Go back. Can you remember them? Go on. Go further and further back. Can you remember them? So that's a second thing. Can you go back? How far back can your memories be crystal clear where you remember everything? If you start having problems remembering a given moment, that should be an indication that your memories in the cloud, I'm using the Wi-Fi analogy, the memories in the cloud is corrupted in some way. If you start suspecting that your memories are corrupted, you can't remember everything, then there's a problem. There's a problem. At which case, you need to ask your manted GP, your higher energy self, Jesus, or whatever that being is, why? Why can't you access all your memories? And at that moment, you should question the answers they provide you. So far, let's kind of summarize the issues. You're going to want to try to test your memories. What can you remember? You should be able to remember everything in the ideal sense. So your first test, again, is test your memories. That's your first test. In testing your memories, you should be able to remember everything if there's no other external influences. You should be able to remember everything. Because remember, the consciousness is in a physical container. Your manted GP controls that physical container and throttles memory. Once out of that physical container, you should have full access to your memories. If you don't, the entity is the manted GP that's throttling your memories. Okay? You should be able to remember every fucking thing. The moment you ended up in this reality universe to the moment you went to the first heaven pocket universe, you should be able to remember all of that. Unless, of course, you were having constant erasures of memory the entire time. And if that's the case, where you have a constant erasure of memories each time that you reincarnate and your memories are instantaneously erased, and the manted GP is the one that's in control of that process, then you sure as fuck better not be trusting it, no matter what love is emoted from it. Are you catching my drift? Am I being clear on this? Not just that, but you should remember your first time that you communicated with your manted GP, the first time you communicated with the manted prime known as God. You should be able to have all those memories. If you don't, and the manted says, well, let me help you recover them, just go into this environment here, you make sure the manted goes first. They lead with you. If they're leading you into a tunnel that erases everything, the manted will also be erased. Theoretically. I'm sure other things can come into play here and that gets complicated. I'm just speaking in general terms. The bottom line here is you can't trust anything or anyone. However, there's a third party I'm calling Domain. If you volunteered for Domain, they will be there and assist you. And you listen to them. So basically what you want to do is be aware and on your toes, be frosty, be at your wits, and make sure that you are calling domain for assistance. For whatever it's worth, keep in mind that Manted Prime and Manted GP are the ones that put you on this plane, gave you this template, gave this rebirth world line template that you might have agreed to. Yeah, cut off my dick and my balls. No problem, I feel great. That you might have agreed to for whatever fucking reason. And now they're like, trust me. Here, just go into this tunnel and we'll work things out later. Trust me. You need to be at your wit's end. Now, while you're dealing with this stuff here, all the hardships, the emotional roller coasters, the childhood that you went through, and all the rest, the only entities that's in your world right now that's showing you some direction, that's giving you some intel, that's trying to assist you are domain. They may be your only friends, people. Keep that in mind. All right, I'm a little long in the tooth. I have promised that I'm going to stop making long videos because a lot of people can't handle my long videos, and that's okay with me. It's less work for me, but I want to make sure I get my messages across. And are you going to be ready? So let me just summarize here. You don't know when you die you're going to be feeling great. So point number one is you're going to be feeling great. Don't make decisions when you're feeling great. Point number two, you can't trust anything. You won't be able to trust a single thing. So the point number two is do memory checks. Check your status of memories. What can you remember? If all you can remember is your last life and you can't remember anything else, then you should fuck the living. You should not trust Manted. They control your memory access. If you're not seeing anything else, it's their fault, and don't let them tell you otherwise. If you do see all your memories, then you should recall when you first started meeting and communicating with your Manteds, both Prime and GP. And that will tell you what you should do. If not, and you're not quite sure how to handle things, keep in mind that there's domain is standing ready. You just need to call them out. They won't do anything unless you call for them. You got to call for them, image them, scream for them. And then when they arrive, you say, okay, I'm ready. I volunteered. I'm going with you guys. What's next? Okay? That's what you do. Okay? Keep in mind, for those of you who are active and communicating with domain, that there is a recovery team. And there's a procedure that they will assist you with. And at that, people, I'm sorry if any of you is confused, but I hope this information is helpful to you. One last time, when you die, people who have near-death experiences say that they meet a person their mind resembles Jesus, and then they eventually meet a person that is God. That's the triad. You is consciousness. Your higher level consciousness associated with this reality is known as Jesus or Manted GP, and the God, also known as God, is the highest form of you, which is Manted Prime. Triad. Keep in mind the triad. When you ask questions, think in terms of threes. 3 lifetimes before this last lifetime. Then 30. Then 300. Then 3,000. When was the first time you met the Manted GP? What was it like? How did you communicate? You should be able to remember all of that. And with that, people, take care, because I know you're going to be doing the best you can possibly be. I believe in you. And with that, people, have a great day.